All right, welcome to our first coffee break with a board member. For all watching, this is a new segment where we get to chat with the First Story board and get to know a little bit about them. So welcome to Mathew Robinson.
Hey, thank you very much.
Thanks. So Matt, you're our newest member of the board, but why don't we start with a little background on you? What do you do?
Well, I'm a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker Bain here in town. I've been doing that for about 11 years now. Prior to that, I was in land development here in Central Oregon, starting in 2006, so I didn't time that one that well. But my professional career has been spent in the real estate industry.
All right. What sparked your interest in First Story and joining the board?
Good question. Well, I'm honored to be part of the board. I think, one of the newest members, and so I'm just kind of starting to get plugged in. But my business partner, Grant Ludwig, and myself have always believed in having a charitable kind of arm of our business. So we've always enjoyed giving back to the community in various ways. And at one point, we were giving a percentage of every closing to a charity of our client's choice, and that got to be a little too complicated. So we decided to start partnering, and it evolved into an annual partnership with different charities around town. We did the Guardian Group for several years, which was involved with sex trafficking. I think we've done Young Life, which is a Christian high school outreach, various charities. And then we got to thinking, well, why aren't we giving back to a cause that has to do with our passion and our occupation, which is real estate? And we knew obviously Hayden Homes and Hayden, and we knew a First Story and just the amazing things that they were doing. And so it was kind of a natural partnership. And so I think it's been 3 years now where we take a percentage of our sales volume and contribute to First Story, and that's just it's a small contribution, but it's, we know that our dollars are spent wisely and that those monies they go a long ways to help these families in need.
Speaking of your line of work, and as a realtor and sort of all the giving you've done, you understand the importance of home ownership and what a difference it can make. How has your definition of a home changed over the course of your career, and has your job helped shape that view?
Yes, it absolutely has. I mean, obviously, I went through the big cycle there back in 2007 through 2010, let's say, but I've also been part of the recovery, which has been awesome to see. So nowadays, it's just amazing for me to kind of walk alongside these people who may not have a major net worth for their family, but say they bought a home through us 5 years ago, and now they're selling it and they're walking away with several $100,000s in their pocket. That is just a major game changer and just real proof. I mean, oftentimes, obviously, those gains are tax-free up to a certain amount, $500,000 for a married couple. And so they don't pay taxes on that. They can just put it in their pocket. And like I said, that's just kind of a game changer for the future of these families and their financial security, and just proves how valuable. I mean, primary residences maybe shouldn't be looked at as an investment, but oftentimes they're the greatest investment that people ever make. And so there's just huge advantages in it. And obviously, our rental market's crazy. Home ownership just provides so much stability for folks that are maybe getting kicked out of rentals. People are deciding to sell their houses when there's tenants in there, and especially for like young kids, but really for everybody, that stability to have that ownership and be able to put in that sweat equity and add value, and the pride and everything that comes along with it is a little less tangible than the dollars and cents, but equally as valuable. So I mean, obviously it's my passion, but I think home ownership, especially for people kind of trying to get that new start in life, is probably one of the most impactful things that can happen to kind of springboard them into hopefully a future of prosperity and happiness.
So tell us about your first home.
That's not the best story, and we didn't talk about this beforehand. I bought my first home. It was from the developer that I worked for in Southwest Bend in 2006. So top of the market back then.
Sorry.
I wish I had it now. But at the time, I'm going to go on a tangent here, a little bit of a depressing one, but my boss committed suicide in 2008 during the recession.
Oh
and
my God.
I spent a couple of years winding down that development company, and at the time it just felt like I was throwing money in a black hole. And that was the first recession I had experienced, so I had a very short-term outlook. Again, long-term, that house is recovered and it's probably worth $100,000 or more than what I paid for it. But in 2010, that was not the case, and so I ended up short selling that house, and it was a great experience. Obviously, it hurt my credit and it impacted me for several years in the future, but it was still a very valuable learning experience. And it scared me a little bit. I think I'm still scarred, but the home that I ended up eventually buying, I'm thankful that I've made up the losses and then some. So, it's worked out in the long run, but my first home buying experience, I just didn't time it that well.
Oh, I'm really sorry about that.
That's okay.
But it's
happened to a lot of folks.
Yeah, and it's nice to see that you came out on the other side. So, well, let's move away from that. Moving on. So you have 3 kids, right?
I have 3 daughters: a 1-year-old, 2.5-year-old, and 4.5-year-old. So if I look tired, that's why.
Oh my God. Well, that was going to be my question. You probably don't have a lot of time for things outside of your family and your work, but if you do get a spare second, what do you do in your spare time?
Oh, thank you for asking that. Gosh, I do wish I had more spare time right now. I'd say my passions very much align with what Central Oregon has to offer. I love to snow ski. I did a little ski racing in high school. Love to mountain bike. Trail running is probably my most common activity because I can just put on my shoes and get out there and go. I love to fly fish. I'm heading out this weekend. It's salmon fly season on the Deschutes River. We're very blessed to have that in Central Oregon. And then, as we spoke about beforehand, I've always had a major passion for music. And although I'm no rock star, I like to play and sing a little guitar, and that's led to a passion of collecting some vintage acoustic guitars, which has been fun. So those are probably my main hobbies that keep me busy if I have time to partake in them.
What's your favorite guitar or interesting guitar collecting story?
That's a good question. It's a long story, but I kind of accidentally purchased a Gibson acoustic guitar from the estate of B.B. King.
What?
So I have one of B.B. King's acoustic guitars that I clicked during this auction, and the bid went up, and for some reason it accepted my bid, and so I paid a little more than I wanted to, but I ended up with B.B. King, one of B.B. King's guitars. So I have that prominently displayed in my man room at my house, and that's probably my favorite one.
Wow, that's really cool.
Thank you.
Dang, all right. Well, thank you for joining us. And now one more thing before I let you go. If you had to pick 3 words to describe First Story, what would they be?
My gosh, you're putting me on the spot.
Oh.
Let's say incredible comes to mind. I think joy-giving, that's 2 words.
I can put a hyphen in it.
And security for families.
Wow, those are great.
Yeah,
thank you. All right, well, thank you very much, Matt.
Thank you, guys. Excited to be part of the team.